Okay, good afternoon, everyone. If I may just start by saying that I'm actually a amateur myself in the teaching industry. So I'm very new to the education system, but something that I learned very quickly is this: my students are ahead of me. So the one that I have to pick up quickly on is to be more tech savvy, then focusing on literally building up notes and lots of material which I'm going to throw at them literally, making my life miserable at the same time. So that is what my presentation focuses on. My name is Sweta Patnaik. I'm a lecturer in clothing and textiles department. I basically teach business subjects, which is marketing, economics, and management, heavy stuff. I have to literally read a lot before I come to every class the following day. So I just try to play around a bit, seeing that now this I'm concentrating more on ECP students, mainstream first year students who literally walk out from the school education of being a metric pass out. So throwing jargons at them of management and marketing is not going to work. That is something I knew very early, and I said that there has something needs to be done. So what happened then? I got into the Czech course because I wanted to be part of technology and get into using more videos and making it interesting. So the Czech course helped me to add on to few of my hacks and hitches, which I somehow thought that I'm a tech savvy person, but actually I wasn't, knowing about a lot of apps and Blackboard and things like that. So yeah, and then before I could actually introduce, and I literally started it in July in the third term. Before the holidays, I went to my HOD's office saying that, look, there might be a lot of students coming to your office from next term onwards complaining about your lecturer. So just to let you know, so if there's a lot of footfalls happening in your office, no, it's me. And it is because of me. So she was like, okay, we'll see what happens. So because of part of the blended learning, I chose a persona by the name Harry. So when Harry met CPUT, so basically when school education meets university, what is it that is happening in their minds, and what is it that we actually portray about? Um, so this is basically the contents. So let's go to the person Harry. So who is this Harry? He's basically a ECP2 student, because we only start teaching business subjects to ECP second years, knowing that they're already a year in the system but very new into the subject. So business subjects come in the second year level, making them a bit comfortable. And so he's one of the students from the ECP, and he's doing marketing for me as one of my subjects. But mostly they come from Model C schools. So they don't have strong technological background. They know it. They know how to send audio on WhatsApp. They know how to open their Facebook pages. They know now there's something called as Instagram. They can check movie updates and what celebrities are doing, what's in fashion in their own hobbies, but they literally don't know how it goes around and what they can make the most out of it. So that was quite interesting. But what I found out that most of the students, even though the government makes sure that they are funded enough with bursaries to cover their tuition fees, there's still money required on a daily basis to travel. And that was the main area which actually caught me back when one of my ECP2 students, who is a very unique persona and very jovial, coming from a ECP and from a model school background, saying that, Miss, I need to make sure that I submit my report either today or the following week on Monday, because there's a strike going on, the buses are not running, and I don't have money to pay for my taxi fare. So he's like actually giving me a jolt there, and that is when I thought that that's real, because he's making sure the lecturer knows he's not coming, and the reason is this: he's not faking. And I know he's an honest student, and he's always in class, he's involved in class, he comments and critiques and everything that a lecturer would need as a feedback. So I was like, okay, you can do it either today or Monday, but thanks for letting me know your issue, because that actually crept me up to joining something as part of the Czech course, because then I know if technology can help him, because he's not so much not into the internet, but he is, but I need to de-channelize his route of using internet in a better way. So obviously there was IT access, because he would literally tell me in the class that we struggle with getting electricity to sit in the evening at home. You talking me about using internet at home and doing things like that. So I don't see that happening. So obviously, if there is transport issues, it leads to missing out classes, classroom attendance of that student being weak, and obviously they don't even get access to library where they could have actually gone and read the reference books that I've put on my subject guide and made sure that they understand what has been already taught and they missed out. So all of that is a missing link for them. Um, so obviously there is the persona. He is a second year ECP student. He's single. He's probably the youngest child. So parents have gotten quite old by that stage. They're probably not working, or even they don't have basic needs to fulfill his basic requirements. He's very curious. He has a very unique dressing sense. I can't tell him that he belongs to a particular culture because he's like really weird, and sometimes it's funny, but I appreciate his weirdness because there is a fashion in it. And obviously, like I said, tech savvy. So I tried to do a bit of mind boggling here and there and understanding his demographics, the personality is coming from, what challenges he is really facing, and what similar side challenges which are not direct yet indirect, but he is indirectly inclining to those challenges and probably is facing a dilemma somewhere and what could have been done. So, for example, if I can take you a minute into the subject marketing. The marketing subject, basically, for starters, they have to know what is it or what aspects marketing is being used in a clothing industry or in a textile field, and how can they use it. So for example, if they have to do a SWOT analysis for a ladies wear, they need to know that the strengths and weaknesses are the internal factors of the organization, whereas the opportunity and threats are the external factors. So to know these simple things, there has to be either class presence, or I make sure I give him all my notes and handouts in such a form that he can have it still with him and not still come to the campus. But he is well off with that information, because when it comes to handing in assignments, writing a test or reports, he basically has all of that. So what was the problem that I could gather from that is, obviously I mentioned early, so transport, either he comes late to the class at times because of taxi or bus not available, or he misses classes, and obviously there's no library hours available as well. So the teaching and learning method that I was using initially, being a business subject lecturer, would be talking a lot in the classroom. What is this theory about? What example of branding it is they're talking about? What is marketing? So lots of theories involving case studies and group discussions. So if a child is missing that for one class, and with the new curriculum we have been shortened with class hours from 2 hours to probably an hour, few minutes now. So all of that is not something that he can attain to if he's missing the class. So basically I finish a chapter along with the areas of case studies or group discussion that is associated with that chapter. So there was something that needed to be done. I was aware of Blackboard, but I wasn't actually using until July this year, like 2 months down the line. And I was not confident myself. Like I said, I felt I'm tech savvy, but by seeing Blackboard and Flipgrid, I'm like, okay, this is Gen Z. It's not even Gen X or Y, they're Gen Z, and you need to pace up. So that is when my current method changed from a mixture of online and classroom lectures. So what my online lectures were basically using a bit of Blackboard, and the application part was on Flipgrid. So what I did on Blackboard, whatever I was supposed to teach in the following class, at least 3 or 4 days before, I made sure I gave them the slides, the notes, any handouts, online resources that I gathered relating to that chapter, and at the end there is a screencast or audio clip of say about 9 to 10 minutes. So what I used to do in the screencast, actually Daniela showed me that I can't play, but I'll show you the page what I did. I used to browse through each and every page of each and every part of the notes that I'm giving, the slides relating to that, making sure that if they follow that process and keep on reading that way, they will understand the gist before they come to the class. Seeing these are heavy theoretical subjects, you need to make sure as a student that you understand something, even 1% out of it, and the 99% to gather it in the class. So that was my way of using Blackboard. And obviously there is an email notification to the students, and I made sure there was an announcement on Blackboard every time that, guys, there's something on there on Blackboard, please go check, please go through. At least you don't have to prepare and educate yourself to the code, but at least go through the stuff and then come to the class, because that is going to add on to it. So obviously there was case studies and group discussions. There was examples of case studies. At times there were YouTube videos where I attached the links so they can play if possible. But obviously I'm going to bring that on to the class as well. So what is happening here is the student Harry, who's not coming in, he's somehow getting source of information or the amount of materials that is going to be covered in the class. And the same I'm going to do it again in the class, but in a minimized format, because I know they have heard it, they have at least known the jargon, so they know what I'm going to talk about in the class. Whereas the outcome which I can say out of it was online submissions, Flipgrid again, but my use of Flipgrid was slightly different and have used it recently last week in our open day, and I'm going to talk a bit more about it. So what was the constructive alignment, the BICS model, like we all know. So what was actually happening here in the teaching and learning part, like providing the notes and the online notes, and obviously there is a assessment format, which is the World Cafe methodology. So what was happening on Flipgrid as well as on Blackboard, I was giving them an open platform to submit their assignments or to submit the work that has been given. At the same time, they have an option on watching each other's videos and commenting as well, but commenting in a good way and not like taking it further, and that goes out of hand. And obviously the outcome was probably, for example, the SWOT analysis or the marketing concept that they need to understand. So that was in a way covered, and they had to do that on the Flipgrid or Blackboard. And obviously the outcome, which for me was for them to know SWOT or understand a ladies' wear SWOT analysis for a South African market, they have understood by doing that. So on doing a bird's eye view or the intervention of what all it was that he was lacking, obviously I came to the point of using Blackboard or Flipgrid. This is basically the video that I was supposed to play. If you can see, I had like notes on SWOT analysis, I had a presentation on SWOT analysis, and I had online materials added onto it. So they know the procedure to go through first the note, understand what I'm talking when I say SWOT. Then they have online materials supporting that and videos, and at the end they go to the PowerPoint presentation, which I'm going to run again in the class. So they know at least few of the words, few of the terms, or even just SWOT when they come to the class. So just before playing the Flipgrid video, so the first presenter, if most of you are present, have seen that they have used Flipgrid. I was using Flipgrid for the first time, and that was for mainstream first year students, first time into the system of university, and also the ECP2s who are a year older but still first timers into the business subjects. The first project, the whole idea, let me tell you, was to make sure that my department students were present on our departmental open day, because students came up with ideas like, we have a test the following day, we don't think we can make it, and things like that. So I said, okay, let's do something like a Flipgrid video, and I'll associate marks with it for third term. So there was a pre-video and there was a post-video for open day. So we as a department had our 10th open day, and we wanted to make sure that we market it a bit more for having a good bunch of footfalls for next year admissions. So I gave them a management and a core subject, which is a production pre-video, and there was a post-video which was again on marketing. So management was basically planning themselves as students for open day, and marketing was what exactly did you market? Did you market yourself? Did you market the department? Or did you market everything in a nutshell? So the project was a video, but I gave them an open platform. The only thing that I told them is go as wild and creative and innovative as you can, but in a good sense. You can do anything that you want as long as I see that the video is uploaded under my educator's grid. So I don't mind, but it should associate something with regard to management that you have studied in the past 6 months, and the post video would associate something about marketing that we just started a month from this term. So I was like really very scared and I told them that to the point that because I was scared, I didn't want to show them that I'm scared. I said, as long as you're uploading the video, you get your marks. So to pull them or drag attention that it's marks. So some of them who are smart enough would have understood that, but I made sure I do that. So this is the first ever videos. I will play 2 Flipgrid videos to show what exactly the students did in their first video.
So basically, I did not do exactly what I thought I was going to do, but I was definitely prepared to answer all the questions asked through proper planning and studying the course information. I had lots of fun doing this as it was a brand new experience to me, and I met so many people, and I'm so glad they could learn from me.
Okay, so there is another video.
How's your day? So what do you guys learn? And what did your favorite part? Okay, so guys, last question for me. So you guys obviously know because it's actually open that day. So I just wanted to ask, do you think CPUT do a great job at advertising or selling this department? Yes. And are you guys, what are you guys ready for speaking, sitting, coming back and joining us next year? Yes. Okay.
Okay, so these two were the students who are not very great when it comes to their marks for the past 2 terms. But when I asked them to do videos, they actually went out to the point that where they could edit certain videos, put them together. They gave backgrounds, they gave texts to it, and they gave like there's so many of them who like literally had musical backgrounds. They had musics, they had patterns and fabrics and garments all relating to the department. So obviously that was a huge success, and I was very excited to see that myself. And so yeah, sorry, we're running out of time. So the outcome was obviously collaboration using a mixture of both Blackboard and Flipgrid. And somehow I feel that the persona Harry's problem of missing classes and transport and library issues is somehow attended, because nothing can be solved to 100%. Obviously there will be a lacuna every time. So it has somehow been attended, and the constructive alignment model has actually helped in coming up with outcomes along with the blended learning. So before I end, just a last point, these videos were so interesting that the marketing department came up to cover our open day pages, and they are really interested on putting some of these videos on the CPUT homepage on Facebook or some social networking sites. And we are in the process of liaising that as well. And yeah, at the end, thank you, Daniela and team, for making sure that lecturers like us get a bit more exposed to blended learning and use it to our students as well. Thank you very much.
What I really like about this idea is that even for everyone who does distance or who has some sort of distance learning students or students who learn on their own, this idea of doing screencasts about the kind of learning materials that the students have to engage with, I really love that. So you're basically providing a learning path. It's telling students, have a look first at this output, this handout, because this will give you a basic information about this concept. Then have a look at this article. Then have a look at this PowerPoint. So to give some sort of guidance on top, because for students have to learn by themselves, all they see on Blackboard is 10 different resources.
Yes.
And they don't know which one is if they have to go look through in detail, or what is further reading, or what the sequence, how
And also, yeah, the sequential learning of what after what.
are invaluable for students who have